So Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War is a beautifully written game. But one easy critique many people make is that Gen 2 is a lot worse written than Gen 1, particularly the main cast and protagonist characters. But I think an exception of that is Lean. I think that she is kind of like a much more interesting version of her mother. They're like very similar despite like terrible things happening. Ironically, they're both like orphans who turn to dancing for work. Although Lean is specifically dancing because she's trying to get closer to her mother and find out more about the truth of what happened to her. And Lean is also actually older than Sylvia is when she's recruited, so she has a much more mature perspective. Although I don't think it's just age, I think she's just generally more mature in her outlook from growing up in an even more ruthless time to be an orphan than Sylvia did. It's a much more real depiction of her job of having to dance to sort of appease these like gross dudes who are after her, which she really hates. And her perspective on Ares and the beef between Eldigan and Sigurd is also more mature and interesting than almost anything that comes out of Sylvia's mouth. Like the way she's able to instantly empathize with knights having to kill each other and compare it to like the dark sides of her job and say, hey, like that was just their job. Like I don't think it's right for you to dedicate your whole life to hating Sigurd Ares. That was really real. And I feel like it's Ares and Sylvia is Ares and Lean is one of the few couples where it's like Lean really brings a good head and perspective to Ares' kind of like hot-headedness and brashness. And the other thing about Lean is that she has more interesting dynamics. So she has a dynamic with her mom that she really benefits from, actually, in the juxtaposition between the two. Then also with her brother, who she was abandoned with, they actually meet up later, and they don't even recognize each other as siblings. But Corpora, her little brother, grew up thinking that basically he kind of just had this idea that like dancers were all just like bluesies and hoes, but he comes to really respect Lean when he actually gets to meet her, and she opens his worldview up as well as to the different motivations that can come with doing this job and how there's more than meets the eye. So there's like a general theme of Lean constantly opening up people's mindsets. She doesn't just enable people to fight with her dances, she actually encourages them to mature and grow as well. And even though she's not Lewin's canon father, the convo she has with Lewin, if he is picked to be her father in chapter 10, where Lewin tells her not to worry who her parents are because they're always watching over her and love her very much, even though their parting is tragic. And Lean says she feels her father's presence watching over her, but wonders why he can't show up and that she's so lonely without him. That is so sad and tragic.